Hello, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining this session for us today. So, today's session is our second webinar in this series related to the Red DA compliance and connected devices. My name is Anant, and I will be your host today. We had the first session back in August with SGS Price Site. That session primarily focused on giving an overview of the Red DA Act, why it matters, and most importantly, how Espressif is helping developers prepare for it. We introduced the Espressif compliance templates, which provided a structured way to document security measures and map them directly to the EN 18031 requirements. These templates are already being used by many of our customers to speed up their compliance journey and reduce the uncertainty in the certification process. Today, we are building on that foundation. First, Aditya from Espressif will walk us through our new Red DA Help Wizard tool. It's a tool which will help you accelerate your documentation process, showing how it works in practice with a real use case. Then we have Anil from CyberWhiz. He will be sharing real-world design insights as well as practical lessons learned from manufacturers across different industries. So, without further ado, let me hand it over to Aditya from Espressif to get us started. So, welcome, Aditya. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you, Anand, for explaining. We can start.
Okay, thank you. I hand it over to you.
Yeah. So, in the part one of this webinar, we read about the assessment workflow. So Espressif shares Excel sheet with you, and so that is basically a very long sheet that customer has to go through. The setup and the self-assessment process is as shown in the flowchart. So first you generate an asset list based on your project configurations, which is like unique for every device, every project. Then you like update the master sheet that is shared by Espressif with you based on your project asset list. So that is a very considerable amount of work and very time consuming as well. After that, you update the vulnerabilities section based on the latest vulnerabilities which are applicable for your project. And then you update the relevant conformance documents, and that completes your assessment. So the main points to highlight here would be it would be very time consuming. Then it contains like considerable manual involvement. Someone from your team with security expertise need to get involved in this and generate this. So we've thought this as a really big challenge for our customers. So we have worked on a tool to make it easier. So this self-assessment tool automates most of the parts which are like currently present in the self-assessment workflow. Some manual verification might be needed at the end, but this like automates most of it. So to look at the steps present in the self-assessment tool process. So the first step is product details, in which the tool asks you to provide your product details such as company name, other product information, its working temperature, and other things which are required for the conformance. It also asks you to provide some like expressive specific details such as the SDK config of your like product and some project SBOM report. So that basically tells us about the applicable vulnerabilities to your project. Then based on that, you answer some questions about applicable articles. So RED has three categories, D, E, F, based on several requirements. We will go into that once we take a look at the tool. Then we complete the security questionnaire. So some information is already pre-filled through the information that you have provided, but some requirements are like filled at this stage. Then we go to the vulnerability assessment, where we'll assess each vulnerability which is currently applicable. Then we'll generate the report and download the finalized package. So the idea is that after step 6, there should be very minimal requirement from you, very minimal involvement from you. So you can probably take a look at it once and assess it, and then like complete the self-assessment. So now we can go over the demo of the tool itself. So currently we are looking at the demo of ExpressLink product. So ExpressLink is one of our products. We will be doing the self-assessment for that. Um, um, so here I have the tool open on the browser. So currently I have, it will be very similar to you. You will open a browser link and this tool will be visible. This is the RED DA compliance assessment tool. In here, we start with the product information. So here, the first part is to fill in the product details such as manufacturer details, address, and all other parts. There is also an option to upload a template if like you have multiple products and this information will be constants among like multiple products. For us, this is the case. So you can also upload such template. So like this information gets pre-filled. So for now, this is a very like sample information. It doesn't contain any correct information, but so just for demo purpose, I have added it. Then we come to this sdkconfig.json file. So whenever you build your IDF application, this file always gets generated in your build directory. So you can provide that file, you can upload it here. So I've already created this file for the ExpressLink project. So I'm uploading it now. And then this is the SBOM report. So SBOM is a tool provided by ESP-IDF, which lists the vulnerabilities applicable for your version of the product. So these are the commands with which you can generate the project SBOM report. So you go to your project, you like build the project as you usually do. Then you need install this tool ESP-IDF SBOM. Then you execute a couple of commands. At the end, it will give you this project sbom report.json. So you just upload it, and yeah. So now we go to the next step. So this step, we will identify which categories your product belongs to. So there are 3 categories, D, E, and F, based on several requirements. Currently, the tool only supports the D, that is the protection of network connections. These 2 categories will be supported in future. So right now, I'll like based on your answers, the category gets applied automatically. So I'll only select the D category for now, and let's go ahead. So here, most of the information has already been pre-filled with my SDK config file. So such as like which SOC you are using. Some questions are remaining, so we can fill them right now. So for example, the embed TLS stack version. So let's just say it's 3.5.1. Then we can go ahead. So here, let's say I have disabled the debug access. Yes, factory reset only. And yeah, so I'm using RSA-DS peripheral. So these are the questions which may not have some information related to them in the SDK config, but it is important for the RED DA assessment. So we ask them like in this questionnaire, and based on that, the self-assessment is generated. So it is important that we carefully answer these questions and see that if like if there are multiple options, we are filling them correctly. So I'll just say 1.2 here, and yes. So let's go to the next stage. So this stage is the vulnerability assessment. So based on the project SBOM report that I submitted, this file was imported by this tool, and this vulnerability assessment sheet is now seen here. So here, as per my SBOM, there are 2 critical vulnerabilities applicable for my product. So based on the SBOM only, it like obtained this information and it is displaying it here. So uh, as a customer, my job is to assess these vulnerabilities for my product. So in our EN 18031, we have to assess the categories. We have to assess all vulnerabilities based on these four categories, like remediated, cannot be exploited, mitigated, and accepted. So the information you can find here, like what to do in case of remediation. So basically, you have to identify each vulnerability in one of these categories. In this case, the vulnerability is related to embed TLS. So we will see. So in that assessment, you have to select to which security assets your vulnerability belongs to. So in our like Red DA template, we have categorized 7 security assets and 2 network assets. So your product like lists all these assets as their security assets. So we have to identify for which asset this vulnerability belongs to. We will go with secure update, SA3 secure update, and we will go with TLS stack. So these are the two which we have identified. Based on our assessment, we will, for now, let's say we will say cannot be exploited. But we have to also give the reason why this cannot be exploited. So here you can explain certain conditions which are required to exploit this this vulnerability, but which are not applicable for my product. So that explanation can be added here, so which will be a part of the uh, uh, red assessment template that is generated at the end of this tool. So this is especially the GEC1 category, which requires you to assess your product for the known vulnerabilities. So I will just say reason here. I'm not going into the details. So next, same for the other category, because this is also applicable for embed TLS. I will select the same security assets, and I will say this category is this vulnerability is already remediated. I'll say that based on my assumption and based on some like information that I can share. So based on that, I can select, and let's say I'll write some reason. So here I'll complete this vulnerability assessment part. If there is something pending, the form will not go ahead. It will ask me to refill the part, but it went ahead, so I have filled everything now. So here uh, it gives some information, but based on that, it generated the red assessment package. So if I download this, I can download the red assessment package. So let's take a look at the red assessment package now. Okay. So just a minute. Just a minute. I think I'll need to share this part. Let me just share my screen. Yeah, I think. Yeah, so I think we can see this part now. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the red assessment package that we currently downloaded. So as you can see, this is for C3 chip, and these contains all these 5 documents, 6 documents actually. One is the README text. So this is the disclaimer, which just contains some legal information. So basically, the tool generated these 4 documents. This is the most important one, that is the template. It contains the proof, or you could say all the wording of like how we satisfy all the categories mentioned by the EN 18031. So we will take a look here. So as you can see, it contains lots of sheets. So here is the asset list. So based on my SDK config and my questionnaire, it generated this security asset list and network asset list. And like that, it filled all this information based on my like whatever information I've filled. So we've made it that the tool will not make any errors. So this should be like good to go. You can verify it once if required. So I won't go into the details because it's a very long sheet. But if somebody has already like requested or the manual version of the templates, then they may know how difficult it is to go through this sheet. Then we will take a look at the yeah. So now we will take a look at the 3 documents. So this is the declaration of conformity. So these are some legal documents that that are required for us to be shared by with the RED EU with the EU. So these are so you have to sign it, and this is some information that is pre-filled based on the questionnaire that you have answered. So yeah, so basically this tool generates all the necessary documents which are required for the self-assessment. One manual review after the generation of the document should be enough for you to complete the self-assessment process. Yeah, I think we are done with the tool. And so one more part. So after this, now you have completed the self-assessment, and let's say some new vulnerabilities come up. So in that case, you also need to update this, right? So that's why the tool also has this import previous session. So in this case, you can actually import a previous session. So I just generated this session. Now I'll import it. So I'll go here, and now all the information which I had given previously in my previous iteration is already pre-filled. So all the files that I had uploaded last time, all information is here. And then based on that, I can make new changes only on the like the content that I want to modify. Most likely it will be the project test bomb report that new vulnerabilities come up, you have to update this. So you will select a new file, and then you will make some changes. So let's say we will update here, and we will change the information, and new document will be generated for us. So like this, we can reuse that and generate a new one again. Yeah, so I think that is the RED DA tool demo.
Okay, thank you, Aditya. It was definitely very helpful. So we have a few questions we will take up later in the Q&A session. Then I would like to now introduce Anil. Anil, welcome.
Hello, Anand.
The stage is all yours. Please help us to learn more from your practical guidelines, which you have learned by engaging with different customers.
Thank you, Anand. Thank you for hosting this webinar. This is Anıl Doyran. I'm the Blue Team Manager at CyberWhiz. At CyberWhiz, we specifically focus on IoT products, and we develop technologies for every 3 pillar of IoT, including embedded devices, mobile applications, and the cloud systems. Here is our today's agenda. First, I will give you some brief introduction about our company, and then I will walk you through about the regulations. After that, I will give some real-world insights that we encounter with the customers in RED DA processes. After that, I will tell you a success story, how easy it will be with Espressif-based devices and with our comprehensive support to be compliant with the RED DA. And finally, I will conclude my presentation with solutions and services we offered. So let's start. Our headquarters is based in Cheltenham, UK, and our R&D center is located in Turkey. Our biggest investor, our main investor, is the biggest group of Turkey, and It is also a Fortune 500 company globally. And today we are collaborating with many IoT device manufacturers, and we are managing their entire IoT ecosystem, and we make them fully compliant with the regulations. So each domain in IoT requires different expertise. Therefore, each domain must be secured independently, but at the same time, we need to secure them holistically, because considering the communication between each domain, they need to be considered in an end-to-end security approach. That's where CyberWhiz comes into place. We have an IoT cybersecurity expertise, and we get this end-to-end security approach for your products. So let's continue with the regulations. So in this world map, the blue-colored countries announced IoT regulations, and some of them announced future deadlines for the regulations. Right now, UK PSTI is active, and it's based on EN 303645 standard. And EU RED DA is also active, starting from the 1st of August, and it is based on EN 18031. And CRA will be, Cyber Resilience Act, will be active in December 2027. When we look at the CRA overview, there are some responsibilities for device manufacturer before production, after production, and throughout the entire life cycle of the product. The devices must be designed with secure by design principles, and the devices must be continuously monitored at the field. And if there is any vulnerability, it must be reported in 24 hours. So in 2027, RED DA will be fully replaced by CRA. But please keep in mind that 1 year before, in 2026, reporting of vulnerabilities will be mandatory. 1 year before, this provision will be active. Therefore, the manufacturers must be ready to report vulnerabilities in 24 hours. So let's continue with RED DA, which is active right now. When we look at the scope of RED DA, it almost covers all IoT products, starting from connected children toys, smart cameras, home assistants, through the EV chargers. Only medical devices, vehicles, and road tolls are out of scope because they have their own standard. So there are different requirements RED DA asks from manufacturers. This include authentication mechanism, secure update mechanism, and secure storage mechanism. For example, if the device stores confidential data or sensitive data, it must be stored securely on the device. And the other thing, secure communication mechanism, is also a provision in RED DA. If a sensitive data goes through a communication channel, it must be protected. When we look at the RED DA process, the device manufacturers might continue with self-declaration, or they can decide to get an official certificate from a notified body. But there are processes that manufacturers need to do at the beginning. First thing, the device must be analyzed, and we need to find out the missing points according to regulation. After that, the risk assessment might be done, and this requires some design changes on the product. After that, and penetration testing might be applied to see that each provision is satisfied. And finally, the e-info table, which is the most complicated one, the device manufacturer must fill how they satisfy each provision in the regulation. After that, they can continue with self-declaration or with a notified body. So at this stage, as CyberWhiz, we give design consultancy to the customers. And in every phase, with the penetration testing, risk assessment, and the design changes, and finally the filling e-info table, the most complicated one, we give design consultancy to the customers. So let's continue with the insights. The first scenario is, it's a smart energy optimization control. There's a Espressif-based gateway that gathers data through sensors and actuators over the LoRaWAN interface, and this gateway is connected to the cloud over Wi-Fi. This gateway tries to optimize the energy consumption in houses or factories. So in SUM provision in RED DA, it says that all the update mechanism must be reliable and protected, so that only authenticated and integrity verified softwares are running on the device. So in this scenario, we see that the device fails to meet this provision because the device doesn't have any secure boot capability or image signing. We know that Espressif has this capability, but we often see that most of the companies does not implement this feature. So what we have done is that we have enabled Espressif's eFuse-based secure boot mechanism, and we are managing their RSA signature management, the key management, and we have successfully completed the device's secure boot flow, and we make sure that this device is compliant with SUM provision. The other scenario is, it's a smart home control. Again, there is a ESP-based controller, which is physically connected to a stove, and it also connected to a mobile app over BLE and connected to the cloud over Wi-Fi. A user can control the heating of their houses remotely. So the other provision in RED DA is secure storage mechanism. So if the device holds any sensitive or confidential data or cryptographic data, it must be stored securely with ensuring confidentiality and integrity. So what we have seen in this scenario is that the user's Wi-Fi password is stored. The Wi-Fi password is considered as sensitive data, according to RED. It is stored in controller's flash without any encryption in plain text. So what we have done is that we have enabled ESP's flash encryption capability and make sure that this device is fully compliant with SSM provision. The last scenario is a smart door lock. Again, there's a ESP32-based door lock. It can be controlled, lock and unlock through a mobile app, and the lock status can be watched in real time. The provision is secure communication mechanism in RED. It says that any data that is sensitive or confidential goes through that communication channel must be protected. We see that during the onboarding process, the user's Wi-Fi password is transmitted through that BLE channel in a clear text format. So an attacker can easily get the user's Wi-Fi password through that channel. So what we have done is that we have added on top of BLE layer an elliptic curve Diffie-Hellman-based key exchange. Once the shared secrets are established, we make sure that all the data that is transferring through that channel is encrypted with AES algorithm, so that the attacker cannot understand any communication through this channel. So we make sure that the device is fully compliant with SCM provision. So let me tell you about a success story, what we have done for a company. So Eczacıbaşı Group is one of the biggest industrial group in Turkey. Under their Vitra brand, they are producing bathroom products, including smart solution. So as I said, the RED DA scope is huge, and even a smart toilet is considered an IoT product and will be under the scope of RED DA. So this product can be remotely controlled, the heating of the seat, automatic UV cleaning feature, or some adjustable water temperature that can be controlled through your mobile app. So what we have done is that we have generated their entire IoT ecosystem from the network board, the software of it, mobile application, and the cloud system. So for that, we have an embedded module which has secure Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity feature. It's ESP32 based. We have used this board and we have designed a connectivity software for that. And we have included every security feature of Espressif, including secure boot and flash encryption. and we achieved full compliance with RED DA from an official notified body. We have an official certificate for this product. For the mobile application side, we also included our app shielding security libraries, and we integrated it for their mobile application, and it became OWASP Mobile Top 10 compliant. On the cloud side, we did not just design their cloud infrastructure, we also integrated their product to our CyberWhiz Defense Center so that we can continuously monitor their product and anomalies on their devices. So this will help not just RED DA, but will also help CRA compliance because we are continuously monitoring their devices in the field. So I will talk about solutions and services we provided. So as I said, CyberWhiz supports you holistically and continuously, which is very important for CRA, to meet all IoT cybersecurity regulation requirements. So we developed these technologies under 3 different teams. It's a common color convention in cybersecurity field. Our RED team is responsible for penetration testing, and they apply vulnerability analysis, penetration testing to the devices, mobile app, and the corresponding cloud APIs. And it will be very important for the risk assessment part in RED DA process. Our purple team closely follows IoT standards and regulations and acts as a bridge between our red team and blue team. Our blue team is the design team. We are adding software solution and design changes in every domain of IoT products. So when we look at the IoT penetration testing, it is very different from classical IT pen testing because IoT penetration test requires some embedded knowledge, some RF signal knowledge, low-level protocols. It requires hardware-level analysis. We might get the firmware access, credential extraction. It requires specific knowledge in IoT domain. That's why we have a red team specifically focusing on IoT products. For about our embedded software solution, we have designed a host intrusion detection system on our products, and it can detect any wired or wireless anomalies in real time. It can run silently in the background without affecting any performance of your device, and it can detect any suspicious network behavior on your product, and it can send all the related security data to the defense center, and it can be monitored easily. And these algorithms are AI-driven, and it will adapt and understand your protocol and find out any suspicious activity. On the other side, our mobile application solution, as I said, we have an app shielding product. We can integrate it easily to every iOS and Android platform. It will guarantee that your mobile application will be OWASP Mobile Top 10 compliant. And our red team will perform penetration testing at least once a year to your mobile app. And our blue team will give design consultancy whenever there is a new feature is planned. So our defense center gets the data not just from the device itself, but also get the data from the mobile application. And we 24/7 continuously monitor your devices in the field. And we offer incident response services, and we are also managing your SBOMs. If there is any CVEs, active CVEs found, we inform our customers and we report this vulnerability in 24 hours. As I said, in 1 year, the vulnerability management part of CRA will be active. So in one platform with CyberWhiz Defense Center, we can manage all your continuous monitoring requirements, incident response handling, and vulnerability reporting with our CyberWhiz Defense Center platform. To sum up, we have solutions in each domain, in the edge security and the mobile application and the cloud security side. we are offering hardware solution and hardware and software solution. This board has secure Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connectivity, and it's compliant to every national and international IoT cybersecurity regulation. As I said, in that smart toilet solution, with this board, we get a official certificate from a notified body. For our mobile application security, as I said, it can be implemented easily to any platform, and its security will be hardened. And on the cloud side, we are continuously monitor your products. It will be very important for CRA. And not just the device itself, we are gathering security-related data from your mobile application. And it can be used as any security operation center for different product like vehicles as well. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention. I'll be happy to answer if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It was a wonderful session, very informative. So now we are back for the Q&A. We have all three people. We have Anil from CyberWhiz, we have Aditya and Sachin. If you remember, Sachin presented for the templates section in the previous webinar. So we have Aditya and Sachin also to answer all of our questions. I do see we have a lot of questions, so we will start with them one by one. So maybe the first question comes from my side itself, right? So Aditya, where can we access this tool? It's such an interesting tool. I'm sure people will want to access it. So where can we access it?
We will be deploying that tool in the cloud, and we will be sharing a link.
Okay, thank you. Then probably I have a couple of more questions which would be requiring your assistance. So we have Nick, who has asked, where do you record the functional completeness assessment for each requirement?
So the details about the mapping sheet and the functional assessment can be recorded in your so the functional assessment can be recorded in your test assessment report, which can be attached to your like self-assessment report. In that you can record the evidence. The evidence is not mandatory as per the directive. You can only satisfy the criteria and say that we satisfy these criterias, but um, you can add the evidence if you want to.
Okay, thank you. Then probably let me see what else. Yeah, so probably a question for Anil. So Anil, how long does it take to complete all the RED DA process for a company to be fully compliant with the regulations?
Okay, so first of all, when we look at the RED DA process, in 2 or 3 hours, we get the details from the customer, and we understand all the device details. After that, the risk assessment will be accomplished, and we get the SBOM from the customer and make IoT penetration testing to the product. After that, e-info table will be completed. So we also have a platform that we can manage this RED DA process. Therefore, I think at most in 1 month, a manufacturer can be compliant with this RED DA process.
Okay, that's not bad. It's quite fast. So yeah. Okay, maybe next one, probably Sachin. You want to take this one? Which steps are needed with the zero code application?
Yeah,
Okay.
so as we mentioned
Sorry.
in webinar 1, Zero Code, Express Link, and Express 80, these are the product which, including firmware, Espressif maintain. So we can provide a ready self-assessment document, and those can be used for the end product, provided there is no changes on the firmware and no change on the hardware configurations, including security configurations. So those can be provided by Espressif. And if there are any modifications, any changes, as any customization, then this assessment tool can be used to regenerate those. But then liability or responsibility of ownership of that assessment, self-assessment document lies with the OEM who is doing these modifications.
Okay, yeah, I think that's quite helpful. Next, we can take up, I think, 2 more questions. So maybe this one also, Sachin, probably. Is it required to regenerate self-assessment documents every security fix product with an OTA update?
Yeah, if OTA update is doing any changes on the security profile or any security related fixes are there in that OTA update, then yeah, self-assessment documents are updated, especially GEC one where we are capturing this vulnerability fix, etc. So those updated need to be incorporated in self-assessment document, and it need to be regenerated.
Okay, thank you. Probably this one, probably Aditya. Where do you record the evidence for the requirement that has been sufficiently assessed? Proof of encryption is working, the flash is encrypted, that passwords are correctly being checked. So where on the tool can we put that?
I think
This will be the similar answer to the previous question that I answered. So you can put all of this information in your test assessment report, which you will attach with your self-assessment documents. But the evidence is not mandatory at the self-assessment time, but if the authority asks you to provide some evidence, then of course you have to comply. But at the self-assessment time, it is not mandatory to put the evidence, but definitely you can, if you have the evidence, you can compile that and put that in the test assessment report itself.
Okay, wonderful. Then probably one last question, maybe Anil, for you. So how do you monitor all the devices in the field and how do you manage their response?
As I said, we have designed an embedded agent that we can easily integrate with any Espressif chips. This agent gathers security-related data from the products and sends that to our CyberWhiz Defense Center. And also from the mobile app, we are gathering security-related data like root detection, proxy detection, like that. And we are continuously monitoring them. These security-related data, we are continuously monitoring them on our platform. And about the SBOM, we are uploading SBOMs for our every customer in one platform, and we continuously check if there is any CVEs or vulnerabilities in any library version. And if there is any problem, we can alert the customer and report it in 24 hours and take the incident action accordingly.
Okay, thank you. Probably there's one more final question we can take. So maybe Sachin, can you help with this one? What is the Bluetooth TLS library? Is it supported by Nimble and ESP32?
Okay, let me explain the details of Bluetooth TLS library I mentioned in our presentation. So we have just changed the application layer, the transportation layer of TLS, which requires a network connection. We are adding this TLS library and changing the application layer with Bluetooth, and we are using mobile application just as a dummy bridge so that a Bluetooth capable device can just connect to any cloud system without any internet connection. It uses Bluetooth connection over the mobile app, and the mobile app communicates with the cloud so that the mobile app could not understand any data, and end-to-end security is established between the product and the cloud system. It's just a TLS implementation on top of Bluetooth. So every device on the transportation channel could not understand the data, so that it can be implemented any ESP32 devices, so it is supported.
Okay, yeah, that's very informative. So I think that's all the questions we had. So thank you everyone for joining. It was pleasure to host you, and hopefully the webinar was insightful to you and helps you to accelerate your compliance journey. I am sure it doesn't end with RED DA. There are more coming, as mentioned by Anil. The CRA is just around the corner. So we will be continuing our support, ongoing our support like we do now. So thank you for attending, and thank you all three of you, Anil, Aditya, Sachin, for your time and lovely presentations to help us educate our viewers today. So thank you everyone. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.